hard cash and that's swimming in it.
Awesome. Amazing. Really, really, really amazing.
Stormfly.
Hey guys, Genevieve here. Sorry it's been so long. I have been dealing with some physical and mental health issues that have made it a bit hard to make videos. But I really miss making videos, so I'm going to make one that's not just about an event. So yay! Today we're talking about runes. Everyone is always asking me about runes. I get comments all the time about how to get runes. So today we're talking about runes and the best ways to make and earn runes. So let's go ahead and jump in. So right off the bat, there are two one-time things you can do for runes that if you haven't done them already, do make sure that you do them. The first is linking your game to Facebook for cloud saving, and that, I believe if I remember correctly, they give you 200 runes for doing that. So that's pretty cool. And then the second one is subscribe for the newsletter and you get 300 runes for doing that. So just between those two beginner actions, you get 500 runes altogether, which is nothing to sneeze at. And they're one time, but you don't have to do anything within the game. You just sync it up with Facebook and then subscribe. So that's pretty cool. 500 right off the bat. Boom. All right, the next one, I'm just going to get this out of the way, is Tapjoy offers. Some people have had some good success with Tapjoy offers, and I think they used to be better. These either require you to spend money on a product or like an online service that you might buy anyway. Like sometimes they're streaming services, sometimes they're actual products, and then sometimes you do things like surveys. I personally don't feel that the surveys are really worth doing because when I've tried to do them before, I don't usually get my rewards back. And like sometimes you're not the person that they're wanting for surveys, like you're not the audience they're seeking for those surveys, so you can't even do it, so you don't get runes, so you've wasted however many minutes it took to go through that whole process. So if you're gonna do Tapjoy, don't do the survey ones, even though those are free because you don't spend money on them, you're wasting time on them. So don't do the surveys. The other one are the purchases. The idea is you're actually getting like a physical, tangible thing or some other product for your money. So it makes it kind of more worthwhile than just getting runes. And people have said that those have worked. Yeah, there was a really good deal recently. I remember someone talking about it. I can't remember what it was, but there are some decent deals on there. I would recommend if you're going to do that, wait for a Tapjoy sale. And like the amount of runes you can get are like doubled or like 50% increased. I forget what it usually is. So I would wait for the Tapjoy sale if you're going to do a Tapjoy offer. But do like make sure you get your runes back. I think people normally do get the rune reimbursement. So just be careful, but lean on the purchase side and not on the survey side. Another category of actually spending real money is buying runes from the rune store. I do not recommend this at all. The rate is not really good compared to other offers for spending money on runes. Even when they're discounted, it's just a bad deal. So I do not recommend that you do this one. Just skip it. Even the little fancy little ones you can do, just skip it altogether. I'm going to add impromptu. I didn't have this on my script, but when you upgrade Mead Hall, if you're going to spend money, when you upgrade Mead Hall in the early levels, you get like a 24-hour sale. It used to not be 24 hours. You used to have it always for that level. But for 24 hours, you get this speed sale, and it's like $5 or $10, and you get a dragon and runes. I wouldn't recommend spending more than $10 and check a little bit later for my section on purchases and runes. But if you're going to do that, those little guys are nice. So Mead Hall upgrades, I don't recommend spending more than 10, but the first couple levels, they're only $5 or $10 in American dollars. I think those are worth it. So anyway, moving on. The next activity you can do that's kind of in that same menu on the game is watching ads. There used to be no limit for watching ads for runes, and you get 5 runes for every ad that you watch. So early when I was playing 2.5 years ago, there was a couple days I sat and watched runes, and I would farm like 1,000 runes a day. You can't do that anymore, and I don't think it was for people like me. I think there were people that actually had bots on emulators that were just watching ads, and that's really not cool. But nowadays the current limit is you can do 10 ads, so that's 5 runes a day, and that only takes about 5 minutes because most ads are 30 seconds or less. Very occasionally do you get a longer ad. So for 5 minutes or less, you get 50 runes, and that's not too bad of a time investment. I wish we could do a little bit more, but I understand why they limited it. So anyway, 50 runes a day, guaranteed, watching ads. Now, some people do sometimes have trouble watching ads, and there's a few things you need to troubleshoot, but aside from those cases where, for whatever reason, you're not getting ads are a very reliable way of making runes. Another activity that is like watching ads are visiting the Rise of Berk Facebook page. You can do this every day. You actually don't have to like the Facebook page to do it, but it makes it easier to find if you have liked the page. So you go to the official game page on Facebook, and on weekdays, Monday through Friday, you get 15 runes, and on weekends, I think it's 20 or 25, I forget which it is. But you click the link and make sure that you're on the same device that you play Rise of Berk on, and it will open Rise of Berk and you get 15 to 25 runes, whether it's a weekday or a weekend. So that's really nice. That brings your total up to 65 a day between ads and Facebook links. The next daily activity in the easiest way is opening your mystery packs. They usually have about 10 to 25 runes per pack, depending on, it just varies because it's random. If you play actively, you can potentially get up to 3 packs a day or 3 times a day. If you want to do 4 a day, that means you're not sleeping. So please, please have a healthy sleep cycle. You shouldn't be awake for 18 hours a day. That's really not healthy. But anyway, 3 times a day you can open packs because the cooldown time is 6 hours. So once you open a mystery pack, you guys should know this, you have 6 hours then until you can open the next pack. And so within 12 hours, you can do this 3 times. However, within the cooldown window, you can also watch an ad for another pack, which means you can actually get 6 packs a day for the 3 opportunities you have to open packs. So basically, let's say you only get 10 runes per pack, which is unusual to only ever get 10 runes, but let's say you get 10 runes and you open all 6 possible packs per day. That alone is 60 runes per day. But because you can get as many as 25 runes, that's possibly up to 150 runes per day. Now that's kind of a big spread. And then when you add that to your other runes from ads and Facebook links, then that's about 100 to 200 runes per day. That is a big spread, but that means that's 100 runes minimum just from doing your ads, your Facebook links, and your mystery packs. 100 to 200 runes per day. That is a big spread, but that means that's 100 runes minimum just from doing your ads, your Facebook links, and your mystery packs. Okay, I had to film this one while editing because I forgot, but Gobber's daily tasks. If you do the Gobber daily tasks, I think you can get like 10 per day for the regular tasks between or 10 to 15, because it's 5 for sending Toothless to explore, 5 for brawl, and 5 for defend. You may not always get all 3. You'll probably usually get 2, so 10 to 15 on a given day for those tasks. Then you also get runes in the pack that you get for doing your daily tasks. Then you can get rune for the weekly tasks. Those are bigger, so usually like 25 rune prizes. And then you also get runes in the weekly packs. So without doing all the math right now, you can also get 10 to 15 per day and then 25 per week, 25 to 50 per week from the Gobber tasks. And that doesn't include the random amounts in the packs, which are also usually 10 to 20 on the dailies and 20 to 30-ish in the weeklies. So that's another thing you can do, just adding this in for the daily tasks. Okay, so let's talk about Odin Market packs. I do not like the Odin Market packs. The gold pack costs 620 Odin coin. The classic pack costs 290 Odin coin. Yes, you can get runes in this pack. And some people do sometimes get really good runes from these packs. Most of the time, you're only going to get 200 to 300 runes and maybe even less. You can get more, but most of the time, that's what you're going to get. So compared to the value of spending that same amount of Odin coin on buying a dragon that you would have to spend runes for in an event, it is a much better investment to spend those Odin coins on getting unique and exclusive dragons that don't come around very much, rather than spending them on packs. So do not ask me or talk to me on Discord or on YouTube about these Odin packs. I do not recommend them. The only time I recommend them is when you have plenty of Odin coin and you're trying to gamble on the premium inside the gold pack. Not the classic pack because the odds aren't good enough. So that is the only time I would recommend doing those packs. Otherwise don't. It is just a really bad conversion rate from Odin coin to runes. So don't do it. Please don't. Then there are the kinds of packs that you get as rewards from events. So gauntlets, sometimes you can get rare packs and gauntlets. They also have gauntlet packs and various other kinds of packs you can get as rewards, like mystery packs and uncommon packs, and a few other kinds of packs. The very best packs for runes are rare packs. Now, rare packs have a minimum of 450 runes because there is a card that is guaranteed no less than 450 runes. But usually you can get more, 750, 800, 900, 1,000, even as much as 1,500. I think one time I got 1,750. That was like one time ever. So the runes are really good. However, not very many gauntlets have rare packs as rewards. They come about like once or twice a year. Not very often. They used to be more often. But you can also get them on the spins. I have gotten plenty of rare packs on the spins, like once every month or two on the spin, so that's really, really nice, but that's not guaranteed, obviously. You can also get gauntlet packs. Gauntlet packs are a frequent gauntlet prize, and they usually have like 100 to 300 runes, something therein, so that's really nice, and you don't have to pay for those. You just play gauntlets, and those, you get a nice solid chunk. And you can also get mystery packs from gauntlet spins. You can also get packs from journeys, but I'm going to cover that when I talk about journeys a little further on. Now, you can also buy packs. So this is where we're going to go back to spending money on the game. So the game always has a certain range of offers in the offers tab for various packs or individual dragons you can buy. Now, some of these can be worth the money. If you're willing to spend money on the game, you need to know this first. 1, prices are not flat rate, except for the standard packs like premium packs and rare packs. The prices are based on how much you have spent on the game total. So if you've never bought anything in the game, you're gonna see $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 offers. However, the more you spend, the more they expect you to spend, and the prices slowly go up. And they have various categories. If you spend a certain amount, you're in that category. I don't really think this is fair. I know this is like something they do to trap whales who are gonna spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on the game at a time. I mean, I don't want to disclose how much money I've spent on the game total with my writer subscription and the few purchases I've done, but I'm not spending hundreds of dollars at a time. But because I am a writer and I have bought packs, I'm closer to that whale category than someone who doesn't really spend anything on the game, and so my offers are more expensive. So I really think that the best offers are going to be like $5 to $10. I did buy a $20 offer once. But I really think that the best ones are $5 to $10, but I haven't bought a pack in a while because I don't really get those anymore. If I do, it's not something I want. So if you're going to spend money, spend it strategically, knowing that the more you spend, the more they're going to charge you in the long run. So do be careful. Here are the guidelines that I would say for spending real world money in the game. The first is to aim for no less than $1 per 1,000 runes, that is $1 American money. If the offer is any more than that, it's probably not a good buy unless it's just barely more than that, like $3 for 2,000 runes, something like that. But generally, try to aim for no less than that. And those are usually like, it's a dragon plus runes. You're not going to see that on a pack. But when it's dragons plus runes, it'll say however many runes you get and you see the dollar price, so you can calculate that. Sometimes you can get an even better rate than that or something similar, and I highly recommend those, but those don't come very often, so you gotta catch them when you get them. But this rule only works for when, as I just said, the runes are actually stated. It doesn't work for packs. There's a different rule for packs. But if you're specifically buying for the runes, then you wanna buy offers that have the runes stated and follow that rate. The second option or factor would be when you're buying a pack, because you can see like the rune chances, but you're not really buying that for runes, even though the runes are what you're going to get. Usually you're going to be buying a pack for the dragon. So here's my rule of thumb when buying a pack in the game is, okay, if you're making the decision to spend $5 or $10 on a pack, decide whether that money is worth the chance of a duplicate you may get from the pack. If you don't own any of the dragons from the pack, then the deal is safe, as long as it's not too expensive. But if there are any duplicates that you don't want in the pack, then be very cautious, and I don't really recommend it, because I have bought packs with dupes I didn't want, and it's like, I just spent $5 or $10 on a dragon I don't want. That's really frustrating. So do be careful, but those are the two guidelines I would recommend. Let's talk about premium and rare packs. So these are the standard packs that are always available. The cost for a premium pack is $50 and rare packs are $15. So 50 and 15. So often the game will offer you these packs for cheaper, like $25 for a premium or like $10 for a rare pack. But because you can obtain these packs with gameplay, I don't recommend the cost of these packs. Like, ever, especially because the chance of dupes is high, especially later in the game when you have these rare dragons. It just really sucks to spend $50 on a premium pack and get a premium you don't want that you already have, or to spend $15 on a rare pack and get a rare that you don't want and or already have. So that's really frustrating and just not worth it. Okay, so we're on to journeys. So there are 2 ways you can run journeys for runes. The first is the easiest way and the more beginner way, is you use the cheap journeys, you run them completely free, and you get what runes you can from these journeys. This is slow, but you can definitely get runes this way. They all have a 12 rune reward option, and you don't have to pay for it. It's like a default option. So that's pretty nice. If later down the road, if you have the rune boosting costumes, that also increases that 12 to 14 or 18, so that's pretty nice. It's slow, but it's cheap because it only costs the entry rune cost of 2, 4, 6, or 8 runes, and you get a guaranteed, up to 10 rune turnaround on spending, so that's pretty nice. And the Barf and Belch journey has a 350 rune prize on the 8 rune journey. So that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt. Okay. The second way to run journeys for runes requires a bit of strategy and some runes to start with. So this is a bit detailed, and this is going to be the longest portion of the video. Okay, first of all, Meatlug's 2 rune journey has a rare pack option. It costs 150 runes to get the rare pack on the wheel. This may seem like a lot of runes, but the rare pack does have a 450 rune minimum prize. So you'll definitely get your money back. And this is the cheapest of any cost in a rider journey to get a rare pack besides the resources in Toothless's journey. So between the 4 regular riders, this is the cheapest way to get a rare pack. The strategy is when you have a rare pack on the wheel, you do need to pay for everything else on the wheel, including the Edgewing eggs, to have the best chance of getting it. You cannot pay for the other things and just kind of go with it, but your odds are best if you buy the collectible and the Edgewing egg, or both collectibles. That is the best chance of getting the rare pack from the wheel. You do need a little bit of runes to start this just so you can pay for the rare pack, but I do highly recommend it and do think it's worth it. I also recommend putting the navigating costume on Meatlug because it increases the number of journeys you can do by reducing the time spent on journeying, so you can do these journeys more often. The other way to do this journey is if you put the Snoggletog costume on Meatlug, which increases the chance of best journey rewards. That mean when you have choose A or B, and you just do the free options, it increases the chance of getting the paid option. That's how that costume works. So without spending any runes, you can average about one rare pack per month using the Snoggletog costume. So whether you're using runes or using the costume, however you want to wager it, the 2 rune journey with Meatlug is definitely worth it. Okay, next is Stormfly. She is my baby. I love Stormfly's journeys. You want to use your 100 rune journey for this, so you do need a bit more capital to get started on this. This is the absolute best for making runes quickly. So first of all, get her Sentry costume. The way you want to do this is you trigger a costume sale by opening, closing, and reopening the journey option until the game gives you a costume discount, and you can get up to half off, so 1,000 runes for the Sentry costume. It's the Sentry costume. What this does is it increases your rune rewards by 50%. So normally the rune prize on her second journey, there's a rune prize of 450 runes. Without the costume, that will give you a 350 rune return on your 100 rune investment. However, with the costume, it's 675 runes. That gives you a 575 rune return. Sometimes the option costs 75 runes, but even with that, it's still a 500 rune return. That's a pretty awesome way to make runes, pretty steady. I get it once or twice a week. It's awesome, amazing, really amazing. And that even after you do that twice, you've more than paid the cost for the costume at discount. So totally worth it, costume worth it, this journey is worth it. I love it so much, I highly recommend it. You can also get rare packs on this journey by paying resources. Sometimes they do ask runes, it's 450 rune cost. Because that's the minimum you get back from a rare pack, I don't recommend it. If it happens to get on the wheel, great. If you can pay for it with resources, great. But never pay for the rare pack with runes. Just don't. If you see the Outsnapper egg, do pay for it with resources, don't pay for it with runes. It's a stupid rune price, I forget what it is. But don't pay for the Outsnapper egg with runes, pay for it with resources. To get the items, you want the paid items on the wheel. So as long as you can pay for the paid items with resources, you're going to have a better chance of getting what you want, even if you pay for something you don't want. You want to pay for the things you don't want so you can get the things that you do want. Otherwise, the even less desirable thing is just going to imbalance the wheel. And I'll talk about journeys more. I have a specific journey video plan that covers all of the journeys. For the sake of making runes, you need to pay for everything, but don't use your resources. And sometimes that means that when they ask for runes for something like an egg or a bear pack, it may make your journey a bust, but I've still made the runes even on those bust journeys. And not every journey is good, but I get enough good journeys with Stormfly that it's just chef's kiss. It's amazing. So definitely do it. You'll see a steady rune gain. Absolutely. So Stormfly is the hero of the day. That doesn't amplify me. This amplifies me. Okay. Next is Hook Fang. The best rune costume for Hook Fang is the flower costume, but I think there might be other rune boosting costumes as well, but we found this is the best. It's not as good as the other rune boosting costumes, but it's still, like compared to the other dragons, but it's still a good costume. The best journey for runes and packs is the second journey. So there's a little bit of a trend with these two. With this costume, you can get 420 runes. Without the costume, it's 350. So that's a nice return on the 50 rune journey cost. There's also a rare pack option if you're going for packs, but it costs 250 runes. So the return is not as nice as Meatlug for the cost. So I don't really recommend it. You can try it, but it doesn't come up very often and you're gonna have pretty poor odds. So for the runes, I would say stick to the second journey with the costume, and you're usually going to get the rune option, and that's pretty nice. It's also good for wood, so it'll fill up your wood basin, for sure. Wood stack. It'll fill up your wood stack. Okay, the twins journey. Their second journey is the best for rare and epic collectibles, but if you want runes, you want to run the cheaper journey. Now, the option doesn't come around all the time, but there is a 350 reward, and I think you pay for it with resources or iron. I forget what the cost is. That does come up, and I do get it fairly frequently, especially if you use the worker costume. The worker costume increases the chance of best journey reward, like the Snoggletog Meatlug. When it's choose A or B and you have to pay for B, you select A, you often get the B with this costume. And so that works really nicely for the rune reward, especially works nicely for getting collectibles. So if you're busy working on legendaries, then don't worry about it and just send them for the second journey so you can get those items. But if you're not too busy working on collections, then you can send them on the first one to make runes. It works pretty well. I get that 350 like once a month maybe. It's nice. It's a nice little pocket change. Grump also has a rune prize. You want to run his 2 iron journey, so that's really cheap. It's 2 iron. And with Grump you can get mystery packs or runes. Now the rune prize is 250 runes, and I actually get it like once every week or two, which is pretty nice. And if you have the healer costume, which we had an event for recently, it increases runes by 50%, making that a 375 rune prize. And you probably don't need Grump for anything else, so you can run him constantly like the other guys, and it costs 2 iron, so it's basically no cost, and then you get runes. It's really nice. It's actually the lowest cost investment of them all. And I think you can usually pay for the rune option with like iron or something. So it's really nice. I definitely recommend it. Okay, the other pack is the edge pack. All of the main journeys can get you edge packs, but do not spend runes on them. They do have runes, but even when you pay for them, they hardly actually come up on the wheel. I haven't figured out a strategy for getting them. I've tried. I haven't figured out a strategy. So just be thankful when you get them. They're nice little extra like fish and runes and stuff when you get them, but just don't spend runes on them. Not worth it. The last journey is Toothless. His last journey is not good for runes, so I'm going to ignore the last journey. His first journey has rare packs and a small rune prize of 25 runes. If you want to get the rare pack with Toothless, like other journeys, you need to pay for everything on the wheel. And I don't think the rune cost for things is very expensive, so it might be worth getting the rare pack back. But considering the odds of the rare pack versus the other eggs, it's up to you. If you get resources, pay resources, but it's not amazing. The real daddy is the second journey. However, you can run the second journey 2 ways. You can run it for runes or you can run it for packs. And if you're running this journey for packs, don't run this journey for packs to make money. Andrew on Discord, our king, he has an entire breakdown of how this journey works for getting rare packs and premium packs, so I'm not going to spoil his whole thing. So check it out on Discord, his entire thing, breakdown of all the packs. And he's refreshed it at least once since his original study a few years ago. So if you want to do it for runes, you want to do it this way. For runes, you always pay for things with resources. If something asks for runes, you don't spend the runes on it. So don't spend the runes on the Amber Natter, don't spend the runes on the premium pack or anything. Okay, so the rune option always asks for resources, so it never asks for runes, so that's nice. The rare packs always ask for resources. It's usually 400 iron, which is nice. And then the Amber Natter can be 350 runes, or it can be resources. So if you're doing this for runes, just pay for resources with Amber Natter, skip when it's not resources. And premium packs are always runes. So if you're doing this for runes, never pay for rune options and always use resource options like fish, wood, iron. And you should steadily make runes this way with Toothless. If you're doing it for premium packs, you have to always pay for everything, including with runes. And although premium packs have a really nice rune return of like 2,000 to 4,000 runes, between the cost of buying the packs and the other items all the time, it's usually actually a break even. Even if you make runes, it's a really small margin and it's not guaranteed, and it's like up and down. It's not pretty. You can get really poor at times. So it's not worth chasing premium packs for runes, but it is worth it if you're trying to get premiums. So as long as you can afford it, do all of that to get premiums. But if you can't afford it, don't do that. And if you need runes, run the journey without spending runes, and you'll be golden. You'll make stuff. You will. It'll be a little bit slow, but you'll make it, definitely. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost done. So this one, quickly, is not one that you can earn often. But in Brawl, after Arena 7, you can earn runes for meeting trophy targets. So if you build the Brawler statue to the max level, you can also get there faster because you get 40 trophies instead of 30. These are substantial prizes. The max prize for 300,000 trophies, is 7,000 runes. So it takes a long time to get there. Along the way, there are the smaller prizes. It starts with 1,000, goes up to 7,000. So good luck, happy brawling. Another gameplay option is you can farm runes with Toothless. To do this, you choose a search that is 5 minutes or less, so there's no cost for the speed up, and you send them out for one bag, and then you immediately collect, rinse and repeat. By doing this, you can earn roughly 100 runes an hour by just repeating all of that. It's really tedious, and you might want to do this while watching TV or something, or listening to a podcast or music or whatever, but this is a reliable way to make runes quickly. If you're bored, or if you're 13 and you have nothing better to do with your time, well, you have plenty of better things to do with your time when you're 13, by the way. You can just do this, and it is a reliable way to make runes. It is a little bit slow in compared to other things, but it does work. Another gameplay thing that I forgot to film in my original video is playing Defend. Now, as I've said before in other videos, Defend is not really an option until your dragons are at least level 100. Before then, it's really not feasible. But once you get to the point where you can be playing Brawl regularly, like you have 5 to 10 dragons that are 100 level plus, the more and more dragons you have, the more times per day you can run Defend, and as you can see from the screenshots that I have up during this audio, you can actually earn some substantial runes from playing Defend. Now, sometimes I'll go an entire 10 waves without runes, and other times I'll have 4 to 6 waves per day that have runes. So that's another nice way that you can make runes as an advanced player with daily activity. Second to last, don't hate me, is saving runes. I know, you want to know how to make runes, but really the key is rune management, not just earning runes. On top of all of these things, you want to spend runes only when it's necessary. So for example, don't pay for speed ups for anything as much as you can bear it. Send Toothless with only 1 or 2 bags, depending on what you're sending him for. Like if it's a regular collection or exploration, restrict yourself to 1 bag. You don't need to speed those things up. And like especially for the hard legendary items, you may spend him for 4 bags and not even get stuff, or 3 bags or 2 bags. So like regular collections and regular explorations, 1 bag. Don't spend on speed ups. Like, use ads and single bag searches as much as you can. You'll be surprised how quickly your runes add up, especially when you count all the daily things I listed in the beginning, when you can get 100 to 200 daily, and then the other prizes you can get for other things. Your runes can really add up if you're saving them and not spending them. Because here's the deal. Game currencies are meant to trigger your impatience and desire for quick progress. They're there for the company to make money. I'm just being realistic. That's what those game currencies are there for. They want you to spend money on the game. That's how they make their livelihood. And I get that. I spend money on the game, so I don't think there's a problem with that. And there are games that handle currency worse than Rise of Berk. I am looking at you, Game of Sultans and Merged Dragons. Okay. There are other games you guys know of that are probably, more than I do. You know more games than I do. But whenever you want to spend runes, think about it like spending cash. Are the runes I'm spending worth the time it took for me to earn or save these runes? So like, for example, 5 to 10 runes at a time isn't a big deal because that's like one ad or a mystery pack. But doing that multiple times per day ends up canceling out all of the runes that you earn that day by your efforts. So because I do spend money in the game and I get runes for the money that I spend on the game, I personally have decided that there's a certain range of rune expense that is worth the hours I worked for the $10 per month I spend on the writer subscription. I don't have an hourly rate at my job, but considering how hard I work, the $10 cost for me to be a writer is well worth the amount of runes I get for being a writer. And so it's like transfer of time. I save time in the game by transferring the time I've spent in real life to earn that $10, and it's more than worth it compared to the time I would be spending in the game compared to the time I spent working. So if you're someone that works, $10 is probably less than an hour of work for you, and it might be worth that exchange. I mean, everybody has their different budgets, so it's just whatever's worth it to you. Which leads to my last topic, the writer subscription. The writer sub is actually one of the best way to make runes. I am not being paid by Ludia. They are not sponsoring this video, but there are several ways the writer sub earns and saves you runes. First, you get daily runes. So it starts at 50 runes a day, and this increases as you go on and stay a writer, and it maxes out at 250 runes per day. It takes a while to get there. I'm at 240, so I'm like still almost a year away from 250. It's crazy. But even like towards that max, within 4 days, you have 1,000 runes. And if you spend 0 during that 4 days, that's 1,000 runes growth in your rune amount. And even at the lower amount of runes, like say you're at 100 runes a day, within a week and a half, you have 1,000 runes. If you're at 180, that's like 6 days. So it actually makes saving up really easy and really fast to save up for certain goals. But there are also a few extra perks that are directly related to rune rewards. Writers get extra cards in their mystery packs, and usually these are like 1 or 2 runes, but we do get extra cards, and so that does slowly add up over time. Then we also get double gauntlet spins. So with double gauntlet spins, there's a better chance for packs. Like I've gotten rare packs on my second spin, so that was my writer spin that I got a rare pack on, or mystery packs or other rune rewards. You get extra spins to get those things. Then on the weekly chests with the monthly calendar, we get double chests. Those contain runes, so we get extra runes in those chests. And then we get these thank you gifts about once every 3 months, like for every day it shows you like what you're gonna get at the end of the week. And those include a dragon. They usually include a nice pack, often have rare packs, and then they have rune rewards in there as well. So between the rare pack and the rune prizes, you get like 500 to 1,000 runes in those gifts. And then the other factor to consider is that writers get an extra 2 days on events. Now, sometimes those are kind of broken and you can't get collectibles, but not always. And so what that means is that we don't need to rush as much to finish events because we can take the time with 1 bag. And even if we pay for bags, if you look at my charts, it is usually cheaper with 4 bags than with 2 bags. So we actually save money on events. We save runes on events because of the extra time and because of the extra bags. So if you can afford the $10 a month to be a writer, or the $90 per year, whichever you want to do, and the annual price is cheaper, I highly, highly recommend it. The annual writer, if you buy the annual sub, You will also get a gold rush, so that's pretty sweet. It is definitely worth it. It is a small portion of an hourly wage for a significant increase in rune availability in the game. And towards the end of making all of this was supposed to be the end, I realized I did not talk about spending runes. What you want to spend runes on. Very few dragons I would recommend buying directly out of the book. There are some few exceptions. Few exceptions. Exceptions would be like Rattling Smoke Breath. Rattling is 1500 in the book. Very good iron dragon. Totally worth spending 1500 on. I think Dragon, like from Shrek, is cheap. But if you guys have been playing since February or March, we had an event. So you guys should have her anyway. But she's really cheap too. But most of the cheap dragons I wouldn't get. I really don't recommend saving up to buy a premium, unless it's a dragon that you really love. Any dragon that you really love is worth spending runes on. If it is a dragon that you really want, buy it. But normally, I would recommend just waiting it out the normal way to get them. But some dragons are hardly ever offered. Like, you have to wait forever for them to be offered. And so those dragons, I think it is worth spending runes on. But for the most part, if you can get it in a collection, like a regular collection, like a Defender or a Seedling or something, then don't buy it. Okay, except I did just buy Liberated Hullmauler. But I used the recent Gauntlet glitch that was popular on Discord like a few weeks ago. So I only used it from the gains from that event. But otherwise I wouldn't do that. Okay. So, but besides that, you need to spend runes on academy spaces. I recommend filling up your academy as soon as possible. Especially buy those on sales. Get them on sale as much as you can. But that is definitely worth the runes. Fill up your academy. It will change your game. Talk to people in Discord and they only have like 2 or 3 spots. And I'm like, what? Like, I just can't fathom not having full spots on the main academy. The other would be buying Valka spots and Dome Academy spots. You don't actually need a whole ton of Valka spots. I bought 4 because I didn't know any better. I could probably get by on 3. Most days I don't even have 4 in there. So you don't really need more than 2 or 3 Valka spots. And by the time you get to the Dome Academy, your rune game is probably different and you know how to strategize runes by that point, and you can decide how many dome spots you need, and you know, that's up to you. But for early game, buy all of the academy spots as soon as you can. You will thank yourself. You will thank me. And buy them on sale. The other thing would be islands. Some of the islands you get by, you know, advancing and leveling up, and you get them and they're part of the game infrastructure. But a lot of islands you need to buy, and I think islands are really worth it. They hardly ever go on sale. Between the cost of hangar space and the cost of islands, hangar space is cheaper comparatively, I think. But hangar space gets so expensive. Towards the end, hangar space gets so expensive. And if you buy islands versus hangar space, your dragons are on display. In the hangar, they're not on display. So those are 2 different costs. And gosh, you do need hangar space. That's the other thing about Rider Sub, is you get hangar space, but that's Rider Sub video. Gosh, hangar space is so expensive. But if you're a Rider Sub, you don't need to buy as much hangar space because you get 150 extra spots. Oh my god. There have been times when the Rider Sub glitched and I didn't have my full hangar space and I was freaking out. It's bad. So you actually save runes again because you don't need to buy as much hangar space. So it's not unfair. We spent money. It's fair, okay? I spent my hard-earned $10 on the game. It's fair. Anyway, so I would recommend spending your runes on infrastructure items, not on speed-ups, not on dragons. Spend with the caveat of really dragons you really want, or like Rattling Smoke Breath. But apart from that, hangar space, academy space is the first priority. Academy slots, and then academy slots, and the others aren't as much of a priority. That is Valkas or Dome. And then islands, academy spots and islands, and then maybe hangar space. You do need hangar space. It's really hard if you can't put dragons in the hangar. But I think island space over hangars, just because you can have them on Berk and it's nice and pretty. Especially the pretty islands like Itchy Armpit and Valkas. I love those. Can you tell that that last part wasn't scripted? It's so chaotic compared to everything else. Okay, I think I covered everything. That is all I have to say on runes. If I missed something, I'm sorry, but that was a lot. And this video is going to be way longer than I really thought it was going to be. So anyway, there's way too much in there to recap. So if you want a review, look at the table of contents or watch that section again. I hope this was all helpful. Good luck and God bless in saving up all of your runes. I hope to be seeing you all more in the future. This was Genevieve and I play Rise of Brick. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!